You're watching a P-Rob Media production.
Welcome back to DiaBEAST Kitchen. Today we are making apple pie wontons. Yes, I said it, apple pie wontons. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to wash your apples. Wash your apples really well. And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to want to peel the skins off of your apples. Make sure that you peel all the sides and the tops, just like that. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to take our apple cutter. You can actually get these in any of your home goods stores, or you can get them on Amazon. I will leave the link below on where you can get this apple cutter from. It is a lifesaver in the kitchen. So we're going to use our apple cutter. It separates what we need from the core, and that is exactly what we need to make our jobs easier. Remember, once we're in the kitchen, we want to use the tools that we need to make the job easier. We don't want to work harder, we want to work smarter. So once we got our slices, we are going to use our vegetable chopper slicer. It's a vegetable slicer, but you can use it for fruits as well. I mean, there's really no limitation on what you can do with this, but I highly suggest you guys get this immediately. It makes life so much easier. It's going to make our slices uniform and perfect, is exactly what we need. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all finished, and look how perfectly cubed these apples are. So now we're just going to dump these off into a bowl. It could be a glass bowl, or it could be a bowl that I'm currently using right now. Now it is time for the fun part. We're making our glaze, so we're going to take our plant-based butter, just like that, and we're going to put it into the frying pan. It's just that simple. It's just that easy. And we're going to make sure we melt it all the way down before, well, maybe not all the way down, but we're going to make sure we melt it down enough for our next step. And for our next step, we are going to add our coconut sugar. Now we want to give it a nice mix. Make sure everything, the coconut sugar and the butter, the vegan butter or plant-based butter, however you want to say it, is nicely infused together. What we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to give it that saucy, sticky substance that's going to stick onto these apples. And then we're going to add some cinnamon. What is apple pie without the cinnamon, ladies and gentlemen? Now that the glaze is to my liking, I'm just liking how it's bubbling up, I'm going to add my apples to the mix. Now, we want to be very careful. We're going to slowly mix everything around, fold it together. My pan, sorry, it wasn't big enough. I just underestimated, how much it was going to be. So if you're running into this same issue, what I want you to do is just slowly fold everything together. You know what I mean? So I needed a little bit extra, so I added just 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to this mix as well. And as you can see, it's glazy. It's to the consistency that I'm looking for. This is what we want into our wontons. And look how beautiful that came out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty proud of myself. So now, this is going to be the tedious part. I promise you, it's not as bad as, or it's not going to take as long as the way it looks. What we're going to do is I added some flour, some quinoa flour into a little cup and added some water. And I'm going to use that as a binding agent to stick these wontons together. You don't want to overfill your wontons like I did with this first one, because it's going to make it so hard to close. So keep your portions pretty small when it comes to adding the filling to the wontons. And I'm just going to show you my mistake. See how it's just overflowing? We want to make sure we put a half of tablespoon into these wontons. I would say safely a half a tablespoon. Now, one thing I would suggest to make this process go by a little bit faster is I would get an assembly line going. You know what I mean? Like I would have like 5 or 6 wontons going, and I would put all the filling down, and then right before I close it, I would use the water flour mix, and then you'd be done. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing it one by one just to show you the process, that it's easier than it looks. So now it is time to fry these bad boys. So I'm just going to use my oil. I used a avocado oil, but you can use whatever type of oil that you like. The best way of testing is take a toothpick, and if it bubbles around the toothpick, we are good to go. Now that the oil is ready, I'm going to add my first wonton. Now, you don't have to pan fry these wontons. You can air fry it as well. I will leave the instructions on how to air fry them as well. They come out just as good, if not even better. Now, I came up with this concept because I know on the holidays we like to, overeat. And we're trying to pile in all these flavors at once. But for those of you that are dieting, for those of you that are trying to go a healthier route, this is just a bite size of flavor, that burst of flavor, you know what I mean? Where you don't have to overindulge. If you just want to fix that small craving, you can. So you still get the taste of that apple pie, but in a smaller portion, if that makes sense. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take the time and thank each and every one of you for taking the time and watching my videos. I want to thank each and every one of you who have purchased my book. I just want to thank you guys for making all of this possible. And make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know every time I drop a new video. And also, I'm going to leave on this note. If you eat good, you live good, and you feel good. And don't forget to tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. Holla at ya, boy. Peace.